Vale Soren's console erupted in alerts. A narrowband signal spiked from Sol's outer edge, threading through the fleet's sensor net like a needle in stellar fog. He isolated the burst. Frequency, 1420 MHz. Modulation, erratic human standard. Origin, third planet, blue-green orb in the habitable zone. Fleet Anvil, Sensor Chief Vale, escalation request filed. His claws tapped the override code. Data purity demanded review, no anomalies in survey sectors. The signal looped, pulsed warnings in binary laced with visual overlays. Primitive graphics flickered, angular shadows eclipsing a star, vectors converging on defenseless worlds. Vale cross-referenced archives. Sol system, uncharted primitives, no warp signatures, dismissible. Matriarch Keeper Rel's voice cut through the bridge comm. Denied, Chief. Survey route holds. Push forward to Epsilon sector. Vale's mandibles clicked. Matriarch, the signal specifies threat vectors, probability of interference. Atmospherics, Rel snapped. Your filters confirm it. We chart clean paths, not chase ghosts. Continue. He logged the override. Sensors hummed onward, the fleet's wedge of 30 cruisers slicing vacuum toward the next beacon. A new ping hit his cue. Human liaison vessel docked at Anvil's flank, SS Harmony **. Captain Inez Park appended a human-coded addendum to the fleet log. Vale pulled it up. Redundant data packet, signal raw feed, time-stamped urgencies. Request, live channel to bridge. Blocked, he muttered. His security protocols snapped shut. Humans tagged as observers only, no command access. He routed the addendum to noise quarantine. One tap labeled the Sol signal, atmospheric interference. Deletion queued. Park's vessel thrummed against the dock. Inside Harmony, Commander Inez Park gripped the comm panel. Her bridge crew, 6 humans, tight-knit, watched screens pulsing with ignored data. They're filtering us out, she said, voice level, hands steady. Dr. Sato, prep the Eclipse sim. If they won't listen, we show them. Doctor. Aaron Sato nodded from engineering. He yanked a diagnostic cable, rerouting power from non-essentials. On it, Captain. Ship scopes plus probe swarm should mimic their fleet array. Park eyed the feed. Sol's warning had come from Earth, anomalous mass shadowing Proxima Centauri. Her team had modeled it, hostile cloaks, swarm tactics. Aliens dismissed it as solar wind. Fleet ignored our log inject, her XO reported. Vale tagged it noise, Park exhaled. Standard procedure for them, ours adapt, broadcast on open band, let their sensors catch the demo. Sato patched in. Harsham drone deployed from Harmony, optics syncing. He overclocked emitters, jury-rigged from cargo scanners. Vale's secondary display flared. Human vessel emitting, unauthorized probe launch. He slammed the alert. Security Officer Keth 9, Harmony breach. Isolate their dock. Keth's armored form materialized on bridge feed. Chief, humans query access. Captain Park requests parley. Denied, Vale's tail lashed. Tag Sol noise and purge. Keth 9 paused, his optic lenses narrowed. They claim Eclipse event, live sim incoming. Vale snorted, primitives playing at science. He executed the delete. Sol's signal vanished from the map. The starfield refreshed. Proxima Centauri blinked. A shadow detached, vast, angular, blotting the dwarf star's edge. Vectors bloomed, occlusion patterns matching the human warning. Vale froze. Impossible, filters cleared that. Bridge lights dimmed as fleet sensors recalibrated. Rel's throne console lit with echoes. Chief, explain the anomaly. Not anomaly, Vale choked. Confirmed mass. Cloaked swarm, inbound vector. Alarms wailed. Keth 9 burst onto the bridge, claws flexing. Matriarch humans probe caught it first. Eclipse real. Hostiles shadow our flank. Rel rose, robes swirling. Humans, their noise was the warning. Park's voice pierced open comms, calm as vacuum. Fleet Anvil, this is Captain Park. Your sensors confirm, ecliptic swarm, kinetic lances primed. Pull survey wedge into defensive chevron. We sink our drone net. Vale's world tilted. Humans spoke of chaos like routine. Their vessel already maneuvered, probes fanning out. Chief, verify, Rel barked. He did. Swarm signatures solidified, thousands of micro-drones, hulls refractive, masses aligning for pounce. Proxima's light bent around them, perfect stealth until the human sim pierced it. Keth 9 growled. Reckless, they risked dock breach. Effective, Vale admitted. Data screamed truth. Rel hesitated, traditions clashing with readouts. Open channel, human captain, your plan. Park's face appeared unflinching. Chevron formation blocks their alpha strike. Our engineer Sato mods your shield emitters, adds scatter pulse, turns your clean fields into disruption webs. Sato's voice overlaid, casual. 10 minutes per cruiser, we snake cables dockside. Your hardware's solid, just needs our tweak. Vale interfaced their specs. Human improvisation layered atop Kelvath precision, shields pulsing erratic, shredding cloaks. Keth 9 scanned Park's feed, her posture, relaxed shoulders, eyes locked, controlled risk, not recklessness, calculation. Matriarch, he said, approve. Their normal sees what ours missed. Rel nodded once. Do it, fleet pivots. Vale rooted commands. Anvil shuddered, cruisers peeling into chevron. Harmony detached partially, Sato's team spilling into access tubes with toolkits. He watched Sato at work. Human hefted a shield core, fingers dancing over junctions. No schematics, just probes, sparks, adaptation. Output spiked 40%. Chaos's tool, Vale murmured. His data had been clean, too clean, swarm closed. Drones hummed, lances glowing faint. Park's drones meshed with fleet probes. Scatter, pulse, live, fire on my mark. Vale's console thrummed. Human timing synced their arrays, perfect offset. Mark! Pulses erupted. Swarm cloaks shredded like foil. Drones tumbled, exposed. Keth 9 manned point defense. Targets acquired, firing. Beams lanced. Hundreds vaporized. Fleet held. Rel exhaled. Status. Swarm fracturing, Vale reported. 80% neutralized. Park's voice returned. Mop-up phase. Our cargo bays have kinetic fillers, improv missiles. Load your tubes. Sato grinned on feed, welding a launcher. Already spooling. Vale marveled. Humans turned survey ships into arsenals. No panic, just ordinary. Keth 9 lowered his weapon. They save strangers with risks we deem mad. Rel faced the viewport. Proxima gleamed clear. Chief Vale, next signal from Saul, escalate without question. He nodded, mandibles firm. Data evolved. Humans taught it, but one drone slipped the net. It accelerated, lance charging straight for Anvil's bridge. Vale's sensors locked. Incoming, evasive, Park cut in. Hold course, Sato's got it. From Harmony, a jury-rigged railgun spat. Slug punched true. Drone bloomed silent fire. Sato wiped sweat. Hardware talks. Fleet cheers echoed, Kelvath voices mixing human whoops. Vale stared at the clearing starfield. Saul's signal had been no noise, it was salvation. Rel's gaze met his. Liaison Park, full integration, your species joins the line. Park saluted. Honored, but next time take the warning first ping. Laughter rippled. Vale filed the log, humans underestimated. Capability, improvisation under fire. Keth 9 clapped Vale's shoulder. Their recklessness saved us. Controlled, Vale corrected. Ours was blind. Swarm remnants fled into dark. Fleet reformed, Saul now beacon, not backwater. Vale's console pinged anew. Fresh signal from the swarm's core, mothership signature warping in. Matriarch, he said. Bigger threat inbound, Park's voice steadied them. We've got mods ready together, Rel smiled faint. Together. The star map updated again, shadows deepened. But now humans lit the way. Vale's claws flew across the console. Saul telemetry rerun complete. Anomaly spiked. Proxima's light dipped in precise increments, matching Earth's latest warning burst. Matriarch Rel, he broadcast, voice steady. Eclipse pattern inbound. Artificial, shadow edge accelerates at 0.3 C. Rel's hologram flickered on his panel. From Saul's vector, dismissed primitives again? Data says no. Vale overlaid grids. The shadow's profile warped space without gravitational lensing. Non-natural mass, cloaked. Park's face joined the link from Harmony. Vale, tight beam this. Her ship fired the pulse, encrypted laser sharp. Watch the edge timing, matches our prediction exactly. Vale synced feeds, human math aligned, Proxima's glow notched down 2%. Fleet sensors strained against the growing umbra. Keth 9 gruff tone cut in. Security scramble, intercept wings launch now. His craft streaked from Anvil's bays, fanning out to bracket the fleet. Drones hummed alive, lasers priming. Light dropped another 5%. Vale's mandibles clicked. Chaos clawed at his data purity. Humans thrived in it. Correlation locked, Vale announced. Eclipse source, distributed mass, 10-15 tons equivalent, non-gravitic, triggers fleet alarm. Klaxons wailed across channels. Anvil shuddered as shields snapped up. Rel barked orders. Formation Delta, Keth 9 probe the edge. Acknowledged. Keth 9 interceptors dove into the penumbra. Sensors pinged returns, fractal distortions like swarm tech but scaled monstrous. Park's voice pierced the din. Sato mods online? Affirmative, Dr. Sato replied from Harmony's engineering bay. Veil patched in the feed, human hands blurred over panels, rerouting power vents into improvised emitters. Veil tracked the shadow. Proxima dimmed on schedule, 20% now. Edge sharpened into a curve, something vast unfolded within. Mass signature blooms, he warned. Cloak failing under load. Keth's voice strained. Visual contact, it's a web, filaments spanning light minutes, enveloping us. Veil zoomed feeds. The dark birth tendrils, blacker than void, weaving a net. Proxima's core light pierced gaps, but the weave tightened. Rel's hologram tensed. Swarm evolution, mothership core deploys. Not evolution, Park countered. Engineered trap, our signals clocked it. Veil, sync your arrays to our pulse grid. He hesitated. Kelveth doctrine shunned hybrid nets too noisy, but human warnings had saved them once. Syncing, arrays meshed. Human algorithms flooded his readouts, probabilistic shadows, chaos modeled, clarity emerged. The web pulsed energy, charging for a kill shot. Impact in 180 seconds, Veil calculated. Filaments target power cores. Keth swing banked hard. Lasers glancing off, need breach points. Sato broke in. Patching railgun over clock, Veil feed us filament stress maps. Veil complied. Human ship shuddered, Harmony's hull glowed as capacitors dumped into a makeshift barrage. Slugs lanced out, timed to his data. One filament frayed, sparking plasma. Fleet gasped over comms. Kelveth lasers followed, precise but slow. Humans iterated, second volley cracked the weave wider. Reckless, Keth 9 muttered, then effective, my wing exploits the gap. Interceptors poured fire through. Web shuddered, retracting 3%. Proxima hit 50% eclipse. The shape resolved, a colossal lattice, kilometers wide, swarm nodules studding its arms. Core glowed hungry. Rel leaned forward. Liaison, your normal pierces what our doctrine misses, Park's comm held. Just hardware hacks, Sato's turn. Sato grunted over audio. Tools clanged. Rerouting Harmony vents to EMP burst. Veil, prime your sensor, wash, amplify the feedback. Veil's claws danced. Kelveth sensors rarely weaponized, too valuable for scan, but humans wielded them like blades. He tuned the array, flooding the web with overload pings. Web convulsed. Nodules burst under the dual assault. Human EMP scrambled nodes, Veil's wash shattered shells. Keth 9 whooped. Breach confirmed, core exposed. Fleet volley, Rel commanded. All batteries, Anvil's mains thrummed. Beams converged with human slugs and Keth 9 drones. Lattice core ignited, silent fireball blooming in the eclipse heart. Shadow fractured, Proxima's light surged back unimpeded. Veil exhaled, data streams cleared, web remnants tumbled inert. Rel nodded to Park's feed. Your improvisation, our precision, victory. Park smiled faint. Team effort, but check vectors, swarm scouts flee toward Saul. Keth's craft regrouped. Their signaling, rally call, Veil reran traces. Fresh pings echoed from the dark, not retreat, reinforcement. Matriarch, he said. Eclipse was probe, main force warps in. Saul's warnings were fleet scale. Proxima steadied, but Veil's console lit with inbound signatures, dozens. The humans had seen it first again. Park's voice steadied the bridge. Sato, scale the mods fleet-wide. Veil, your data backbone, we hold the line. Rel gripped her console edge. Agreed, humans lead the shadow dance. Keth 9 accelerated. For the line. Veil locked new grids. Chaos no longer noise. Tool as humans wielded it, but the warp signatures multiplied. Eclipse had been warning. The true dark gathered. Proxima flared full, but Veil's scopes pierced beyond. Shapes coalesced in the outer black. Vast, hungry, on collision course. He triggered the all-fleet ping. Incoming confirmed. Human protocols integrating now. Sato's laugh crackled. Let's make their hardware scream. Fleet engines roared to match. Shadows deepened anew. Veil watched the boards. Humans turned crisis to canvas. Kelveth followed. Saul's beacon burned brighter in his mind, not primitive, prophetic, warp flares ignited. The horde arrived. Contact, Keth 9 yelled. They blanket the system. Veil's arrays screamed data, hundreds of webs synchronizing eclipses across Proxima's disk. Light dimmed fleet-wide, coordinated blackout. Park's tight beam sliced through. Veil edge timings. Sato's got countermods prepped. He fed her the grids. Human ingenuity surged. Harmony broadcast jury-rigged disruptors, frequencies tuned to web harmonics. Anvil's arrays amplified, turning sensor nets into disruption webs of their own. Keth 9 wing danced through the gloom. Humans mark weak points, we strike true. Lasers carved glowing scars, webs tore under hybrid fire. Rel paced her bridge projection. Dismiss no signal again, Earth speaks volumes. One web snagged a Kelvath frigate, hull breached. Vale's heart clenched, clean data failed there. Sato, Park snapped. Railgun chain incoming. Harmony spat a stream, slugs ricocheted off debris punching the web's core, frigate freed, venting but alive. Crew cheered. Vale filed it, human normalcy, chain reaction saves. Webs pressed, Eclipse peaked at 80%, cores charged, blotting stars. Vale spotted the pattern. Matriarch, they're hurting us toward Proxima's gravity well. Rel pivoted. Break formation, improvise vectors. Park anticipated. Negative, use it. Sato, gravity assist slingshot mods. Sato patched schematics. Fleet thrusters retune whip around Proxima, drag their webs into flare zones. Vale integrated. Kelvath engines hummed to human specs. Fleet arced tight, slingshotting into the star's corona. Webs pursued, filaments straining. Proxima's plasma lashed them, webs melted, nodules popping like overripe fruit. Keth 9 drones harried stragglers. Beautiful, reckless beauty. Controlled, Vale echoed, smiling for the first time. Light returned. Webs reduced to slag. Warp signatures winked out, rooted. Rel exhaled. Fleet intact thanks to Saul's sight. Park saluted. And your steel. Vale logged the feat. Humans, chaos as craft. Kelvath, data as dagger. United extinction averted, but his console whispered. Faint signal from Saul. Urgent. New pattern beyond Proxima. Shadows lingered at system edge. The Horde's queen stirred. Sato chuckled. Round 2, bring it. Vale braced. The quiet species spoke loudest. Park's voice cut through the bridge comms. All hands, full damage control drill. Battle stations in 60 seconds. Human teams lead, Kelvath crews integrate now. Vale Soren froze at his sensor station. Proxima's light still bathed the fleet in victory glow. Webs slagged, Horde rooted. Data streams ran clean, no contacts, warp echoes fading. Yet humans drilled, he tapped his console. Captain Park, sensors clear, threat neutralized, drill redundant. Her image flickered on his screen, calm eyes unyielding. Redundant until it's not. Chief Vale, assign your analysts to Team Delta. Report to Hangar 3. Vale's filaments twitched. Kelvath protocol demanded data confirmation first. Humans leaped to practice. He stood, duty overriding doubt. Analysts with me, we adapt. Corridors buzzed. Crews streamed toward hangars, Kelvath in crisp gray, humans in worn jumpsuits. Vale joined Team Delta, 4 humans, 6 of his analysts. Their leader, a stocky engineer named Reyes, slapped his shoulder. Sensor Chief, perfect, you'll call hull breaches. Vale nodded stiffly. Data only, Reyes grinned. Data saves lives, gear up. Hangar 3 hummed under emergency reds. Bulkheads sealed. Park's drill sim kicked in, holographic breaches sprayed sim debris, power flickered, alarms wailed, teams scrambled. Vale's team hit their zone, a mock engineering bay. Reyes barked, pumps offline, Sato, bus it. Doctor. Aaron Sato crouched amid conduits, tools flashing. He yanked redundant life support pumps from their mounts. Wires snaked out. These idle since Proxima sling, repurposed to power bus, bridge the gap. Vale watched, scanner in hand. Kelvath pumps stayed dormant in peacetime, sacred redundancy. Sato treated them like clay. Sparks flew as he spliced relays, coolant hissing. Bus live in 30, Vale, scan for shorts. Vale's device beeped approval. Clean flow, output triple baseline. Sato wiped sweat, no flourish. Good enough, patch mains. Team Delta sealed their breach first. Hollow timer blinked, 4:12 elapsed. Park's voice praised. Delta leads, rotate teams. Vale challenged over open comms. Captain, sim parameters extreme, real webs showed no breaches. Prep waste cycles when sensors predict, Park interrupted. Prediction failed at Eclipse, Chief. Sensors missed the herd, we practice what data hides. Her teams, mixed now, swarmed next sim, railgun overload, shrapnel storm. Vale's analysts faltered at first. Human leads pulled them through. One Kelvath hesitated on a valve, Reyes demonstrated torque twist. They nailed it in 3:45, cheers echoed, Vale's doubt cracked. Humans turned drills into rhythm, chaos rehearsed. Matriarch Keeper Rel observed from the Anvil flagship's feed. Her voice rumbled fleet-wide. Captain Park's methods yield results. Fleet adopts. Keth 9 secure engineering paths. Keth's response crackled. Security chief's drones whirred into motion. Vale glimpsed him on corridor cams, broad frame directing squads. Sato's voice piped up casual. Keth 9 request quiet hallways to engineering, no foot traffic, mods sensitive. Keth 9 paused, then complied. Hallways cleared, drones patrol, why quiet? Vibration kills precision solder, Sato replied. Pumps hummed louder now, bus feeding auxiliary grids, fleet-wide. Vale returned to his station post-drill, teams dispersed, buzzing. His console whispered again, Saul's signal strengthening. Urgent ping. Shadows at system rim coalesced, not rooted remnants but reinforcements. Pattern shifted, larger signatures, Queen Nodule, he flagged Rel. Matriarch new contacts, beyond Proxima, mass exceeds prior horde. Rel's hologram materialized. Strength. Tenfold, Warpins inbound, Eclipse tactic repeat. Park joined the holo conference, Sato at her side. Not Eclipse, coordinated strike, our drills timed right. Vale integrated fresh scans. Vectors converge on fleet core, Anvil primary target. Rel steepled her claws. Standard evasion, data-locked maneuvers. Park leaned in. Negative, use the drill momentum. Sato's bus freed power, reroute to point defense lasers. Overclock for web burn. Sato nodded, already scheming. Lasers pull from life support reserves. Kelvath arrays sync via my patch. Vale, feed targeting data direct. Vale hesitated. Overclock risks cascade failure. Risk we drilled, Park said. Teams ready. Keth 9 burst onto the bridge feed, drones trailing. Engineering secured, Sato's mods stable. Humans request armed escort just in case. Rel eyed Park. Tradition clashed with results. Granted. Chief Vale, you lead sensor link to their improv. Vale's station lit up. He piped patterns to Sato's teams. Shadows swelled, Queen Nodule bloomed, birthing web clusters. Proxima's gravity tugged them inward. Fleet drills paid off. Mixed crews flooded stations. Sato's voice over comms. Bus hot. Lasers prime. First webs lashed. Point defense spat. Overclocked beams sliced filaments clean. No tangles. Kelvath drones from Keth 9 swarmed breaches, guided by human fire control. Vale tracked it. Queen adjusting, herding again. Park anticipated. Slingshot repeat. No, invert it. Thrusters reverse, drag them into Proxima's magnetosphere. Rel authorized. Engines roared backward. Fleet braked hard. Corona winds whipping webs into frenzy. Plasma storms ignited nodules. Explosions chained. Keth 9 reported from engineering. Sato's bus holds. No shorts. Your quiet hallways worked. Sato chuckled over line. Team effort. Queen Nodule bucked, spawning heavies. One grazed Anvil's hull. Alarms blared, real breach. Vale's team activated. Drill's muscle memory. They sealed it in 2:50. Rel's voice steadied. Fleet holds, human prep turns tide. Shadows thinned. Queen warped out, tendrils trailing slag. Silence fell. Vale logged, drills as doctrine. Humans practiced survival before certainty, but his console pinged. Saul's signal clarified. Horde origin traced. Hive world inbound. Prep for war. Park saluted the holo. Round 2 was warm-up. Real fight comes. Sato grinned. Quiet hallways ready. Vale smiled faintly. Humans didn't ask if threats were real. They practiced surviving them. Fleet braced as one. Shadows gathered anew. Vale's console flared red. Shadows split, one massive blotch fractured into a dozen jagged fragments, accelerating toward the fleet's rigid grid. Contact multiply, Vale barked into the sensor net. Fragments vectoring all ships. Evasive recommended. Matriarch Keeper Rel's voice cut through the bridge feed, calm as etched stone. Hold formation, Anvil. Standard doctrine, probes forward for intercept. Vale's claws tightened on his panel. Clean data screamed risk. The fragments dodged probe signatures like they read the launches. He plotted trajectories, perfect arcs. Too perfect. First probe winked out. Precision strike, no debris trail. Second followed 10 seconds later, gutted mid-thrust. Probes lost, Vale reported. Fragments closing, 5 minutes to outer hulls. Rel's holo flickered on his secondary screen. Her crest ridges flattened in resolve. Shields to full, point defense sync, we do not scatter. Vale glanced at the main plot. Fleet Anvil sat dead center, 1,000 vessels locked in the Anvil wedge, immobile, predictable. The fragments wove through the grid like threads on a loom, each ship a fixed point. They painted themselves as targets. Commander Park's icon pulsed from the human liaison frigate Ember. Matriarch, break it up. They're using our formation as a grid. Scatter now. Rel hesitated, then sharpened. Negative, Captain. Unity holds. Your input noted. Park didn't argue. Ember's thrusters ignited first, blue plasma flares yanking her out of line. She hooked 2 Kelvath destroyers in her wake, tractor beams snapping taut. Ember breaking formation, Vale announced, fingers flying to track. Park dragged the trio into a tight spiral, shields overlapping in a rotating disc. Fragments veered, 3 diverted to chase the spin. Rel's voice spiked. Captain Park, rejoin grid immediately. Can't, Matriarch, Park replied, voice steady over the chaos. Pulling them off you. Sato, you reading this? Dr. Sato's gravelly tone joined from Ember's engineering bay. Affirm, dumping reaction mass now, paint those bastards. Vale's sensors lit up. Ember vented stored propellant in controlled bursts, fine mist clouds blooming around the fragments. Ionized particles reflected every scan ping. The shadows sharpened into outlines, needle-thin drones edged in adaptive stealth hulls. Targets painted, Vale whooped, data flooding clean. Vectors locked, drones confirmed, horde scouts splitting pattern matches saw warnings. Keth, security feed patched in from Anvil's lower decks. Sensors clear now, my team's arming breach kits, human paint job holds. Fragments swarmed the spiral. Park's trio rotated faster, point defense lasers stitching the void. One drone shredded, venting atmosphere. Another grazed a destroyer's flank. Keth 9 drones launched from tubes, swarming the wound. Rel watched her plot. More fragments piled on the outliers, the grid held but Probe's ghosts left gaps. Vale, assess core integrity. Core stable, Vale said, but flanks exposed. Park's spiral draws 30% fire. Ember bucked. A drone latched her hull, filaments whipping out. Park's voice stayed level. Sato, bus hot? Lasers priming, Sato grunted. Overclocked beams lanced from jury-rigged mounts. Sato's handiwork, ship-grade reactors feeding point defense. Filaments parted clean, no tangles. Vale tracked the queen's shadow at the swarm's heart. It pulsed, spawning fresh needles. Primary adjusting, herding fragments toward grid center. Park anticipated. Invert it, reverse thrusters drag into Proxima's tail. Rel paused, then keyed fleet-wide. All ships execute Park maneuver, engines reverse, brake hard. Roars echoed through the hull. Anvil shuddered, corona winds from Proxima's magnetosphere slamming forward. Web filaments from the drones stretched taut, nodules igniting in plasma storms. Explosions chained across the plot. Fragments overloaded, hulls slagging. Keth 9 reported from engineering. Sato's power bus holds, no shorts, those quiet human drills sealed the strain. Sato chuckled. Team effort, Vale, your paints locked the kills. One heavy nodule broke through, grazing Anvil's flank. Alarms wailed, breach at deck 7. Vale's team surged. Muscle memory kicked in, seals clamped, foam sprayed, vacuum doors hissed shut. 2 minutes 50 seconds, drills as doctrine. Fleet holds, Rel broadcast, voice steadying. Human prep turns the tide, shadows thinned. Queen nodule warped out, trailing molten slag. Silence blanketed the sensors. Vale logged the vectors, drills before certainty. Humans practiced chaos like a tool. His console pinged. Sol relay clarified, horde origin traced, hive world inbound, prep for war. Park's hollow saluted. Round 2 was warm-up, real fight comes. Sato grinned on feed. Quiet hallways ready. Vale smiled faintly, but fresh pings spiked dozens of shadows massing at the system edge, not scouts, advance wave. Matriarch, Vale said. Hive signatures confirmed. They're not herding, they're boarding. Rel's crest flared. All hands battle stations. Park, Sato, your method's now fleet standard. Ember led the reform. Park slung 3 more ships into spirals, Sato venting mass from auxiliary tanks. Vale's screens painted a storm of targets. Hundreds now, hulls pulsing with bioarmor. Keth 9 teams drilled breaches fleet-wide, human fire control guiding their swarms. Lasers sang, overclocked and precise. A massive drone punched through a frigate's core. Vale zoomed, queen spawn, tendrils burrowing. Target queen heavies, Park ordered. Sato rigged the slingshot again, Proxima gravity assist. Sato patched schematics. Fleet thrusters sink to my bus, reverse burn in 3. Rel nodded, engines thundered backward. Magnetosphere winds lashed the swarm, filaments snapping. Heavies bucked, nodules blooming into fireballs. But one queen latched Anvil's prow, drills chewing armor. Keth 9 voice crackled. Security to prow, Vale painted internal. Vale routed paints through hull sensors, reaction mass mists from emergency vents. The queen glowed on every scan. Sato's lasers converged, beams carved deep. The beast ruptured, spraying ichor, fleet cheers echoed, probes relaunched, grids reforming loose. Vale plotted residuals. Shadows fled to the Uwit, but the Sol ping updated. Hive Fleet Ada 48 hours, billions inbound. Park's face filled his screen. We bought time, now we improvise the trap. Rel turned to her counsel. Human drills integrate, Vale, sync all sensors to their paints. He complied. Data flowed pure. Keth 9 reported from the Prow breach. Sealed in 140, your quiet prep saved us. Humans didn't boast, they just worked. Vale watched the Hive signatures swell, billions. The quiet species' habits turned extinction to edge. But the lead shadow warped back larger, spawning carriers. Alarms blared anew. Incoming heavies, Vale warned. Formation or spiral? Park grinned. Both, evolve it. The fleet twisted into hybrid webs, rotating shields laced with sensor mists. Drones met drones, Keth 9 swarms clashing biohulks. Sato's voice cut sharp. Overload incoming, bus at 90%. One carrier breached a destroyer. Tendrils flooded halls. Human engineers, Sato's analogs, vented decks, lasers priming internal mounts. They held, drills won. Queen carrier's mast eclipses blotting Proxima's light. Vale's paints pierced the dark. Rel bet the fleet. Full reverse, drag them all in. Winds howled, plasma chained, carriers slagged, silence again. But Vale's deep scan pierced, Hive world silhouette inbound fast. They're committed, he said. No retreat. Park nodded. Good, our normal just became their nightmare. Sato rigged the final dump every tank, every ship. Mists painted the void white, fleet braced, horde charged, Vale smiled, chaos tool deployed. Shadows gathered, not fragments. A tide, Keth 9 voice barked over the fleet net. Officer Trill, stand down, Vale's sensors spiked. The tide slammed home, Queen carriers birthing fighters by the thousand. Bioplasma scorched shields. His console painted the chaos. A destroyer cracked open, crew pods ejecting into the void. He glanced at the security feed. Trill lunged for the human comm relay. Fingers danced over cut protocols. These primitives flood our bands, they'll doom us. Keth 9 armored form tackled him. Restraint snapped on. Reckless endangers all, detain him. Vale exhaled. Data held steady despite the hit. Human paints overlaid his feeds, precise, adaptive. Park's voice cut through static. Captain Park to Anvil Actual. Opening archive packet now, stand by for threat profiles. Rel's tone boomed from command. Transmit, fleet eyes on. Vale pulled the packet, Earth's seal cracked open. Files cascaded, schematics, encounter logs, one header froze him. Scorveth Hive Queen's third contact, do not engage alone. Again. Again, Vale muttered. His voice carried hot over open mic. Park's reply came calm. We've danced this before. Sol outliers tangled with scouts 2 centuries back. Lost 3 probes, learned fast. Schematics bloomed. Hive Queens, gravity-warped behemoths spawning endless. Weak points flickered, lens nodes vulnerable to phase disruption. They eclipse stars to blind foes, Park said. Paint their vents, jam the birth sacks. Vale's primaries locked the lead queen. Billions strong, blotting Proxima anew, engineered eclipse. His people had dismissed Earth's ping as noise, primitive bursts. Now the quiet species named their hunter. Rel ordered, Sensor Chief Soren, reroute authority, human callouts primary. Vale's hands flew. He shunted fleet arrays to Park's team, clean data bent to their chaos. Authority transferred, paints live. Confirmed, Park said. Sato, your show. Dr. Sato's feed patched in from the human auxiliary deck. Tools clattered. Navigation coils to auxiliary bus. Reroute power through grav plates. Will lens their emissions back at 'em. Vale tracked the jury rig. Sato stripped panels, spliced conduits, no schematics, just hands and sparks. That's uncalibrated, Vale said. Verify mass tolerances. Sato grinned into the pickup, sweat beading. Dare you to run the sims, Chief, bet it holds. Vale fed numbers through his stack. Coils hummed in simulation, gravity lensing bioplasma into feedback loops. Jammer crude but viable. Green. 87% suppression on vents. Risk of cascade overload at full draw. Acceptable, Sato said. Patch to forward emitters. Keth 9 checked in from Prow Repair. Humans improvise weapons from drift parts. Trill would have silenced them. Good arrest. Fleet twisted under Rel's call. Hybrid spiral lace with human mists. Vale's paints guided it. Drones swarmed queens, needling sacks. Biofighters shredded escorts. One queen vented spawn, Sato's jammer fired. Nav coils warped her plasma back. Sacks boiled from inside. Direct hit, Vale called. Spawn rate down 30%. Park's team painted secondaries. Shift to port lens, overload chain. Rel leaned in. They're normal drills, this? Vale nodded to empty air. They treat crisis as procedure. Queen's mast, eclipse deepened. Sensors strained against the dark. Vale boosted gains, human mists pierced it, scattering false echoes. Queens fired blind, plasma chaining into their own. Keth 9's squad sealed another breach. Human analogs vented without hesitation, held the line. Sato's voice sharpened. Bus at 95, coils warping, need dampers from your grid, Vale, he complied, rerouted spares. Dampers live, hold pattern, jammer pulsed. Lead Queen shuddered, sacks rupturing, fighters spilled dead. Fleet drones mopped remnants, but the hive world loomed. Silhouette filled deep scan, carriers detached, fresh tide. Incoming heavies, Vale warned. Queen tenders, profiles match, Park scanned. Affirm, do not engage alone, they birth Queens mid-fight. Rel gripped her station. Sorin, full spectrum to humans. Sato, scale the jammer? On it, Sato said, sparks flew anew. Borrow your thrust vectors, we'll grav lens the whole formation. Vale simmed it. Insane, nav coils fleet-wide, cascade risked, but numbers crunched green. Viable, sync protocols outgoing. Keth 9 reported patrols. Humans share breach tactics. My teams adapt. Reckless? No, controlled. Eclipse peaked. Proxima vanished. Queens lunged from shadow. Vale's paints, human-led, lit them like beacons. Mists confused their senses. Drones struck true. Sato's master jammer thrummed. Every nav coil bent gravity. Lenses formed, a web snapping bioplasma back. Queens ignited. Tenders buckled, Queens half-born exploding in wombs. Fleet reversed hard. Drag lines hooked the wreckage. Plasma chains slagged the horde. Silence fell. Scans cleared. Hive world cracked, tumbling inert. Vale leaned back, data pure again. Humans powered down rigs like routine maintenance. Park patched through. Archive has more, next wave, Rel's voice followed. Transmit all, your normal saved us. Keth 9 added, strangers no more. Vale eyed the final file. Scorvath remnant fleets do not engage alone. Fourth time. The quiet species warnings echoed, dismissed no longer, but deep scan pinged, a ghost signature warping in from the Uit shadows. Not Hive, something older. Earth's packet flickered with a match. Vorathian reclaimers engage with caution, they remember us. Alarms stirred, Vale's console lit. New contact, human profile active, Park's grin flashed. Our turn to lead the dance. The fleet braced, chaos tool primed. Tide 2 brood, Sato's voice cut sharp. Rigs hot, what's the play? Vale synced paints. Humans didn't boast, they evolved it. Rel ordered, follow their callouts all in. Shadows gathered, not fragments. Ancestors, Vale locked primaries. Quiet habits turned nightmare anew. But whose? Park opened a sub-file. Vorathians hunt hives and us again. Engines flared, collision course set. Keth 9 squads primed rails. Controlled risks, I see it now. Sato jury-rigged boosters. Grav lens their drives, pull them into the slag. Vale verified, green. Sinking. Reclaimers decloaked, angular hulks, weapons hot, beams lanced. Shields buckled on a frigate, Park called vectors. Fleets spiraled, mists deploying. Human drills laced alien precision. One reclaimer targeted anvil. Vale painted its vents. Sato's lens snapped it blind. Drones swarmed, Rel bet big. Full commit, human hybrid. Chaos flowed, reclaimers warped space, pulling wrecks as rams. Sato countered, coils dragging them offline. Keth 9 boarded a drifting hulk. Human tactics clear decks, we hold. Vale watched feeds. Humans vented without pause, lasing internals. Calm competence. Lead reclaimer cracked, core breached. Chain reaction rippled, silence. Scans empty, but Park's tone shifted. Packet update, Vorathian signal allies, fleet inbound. Vale's deep array confirmed, dozens warping in. Rel stared. Their normal escalates. Sato laughed. Ours too, rig the debris field, missed ambush. Vale smiled, data pure, chaos tool shared, the quiet species led, fleet followed, extinction edged back, human habits the blade, shadows massed, billions, no, quadrillions. Earth's warnings rang true, again, Park grinned. Evolve it, fleet twisted. Ready, Vale's console flared red, Vorathian signatures warped in dozens, then hundreds. Quadrillions of shadowed forms massed beyond the debris field. Matriarch Keeper, Vale said, voice steady. Feeding window opens in 7 minutes, eclipse boundary here. His finger stabbed the holomap. A glowing arc sliced the void where the gas giant's silhouette choked their approach. Choke point marked, they funnel through or starve. Rel leaned over his station, mandibles clicking. Earth's primitives warned of this, dismissed. Park's voice cut in from the human liaison channel. Not dismissed now, matriarch, we ride it. Her frigate's icon blinked acknowledgement. Fleet, cut all emissions, go dark. Shadow protocol now. Vale watched the grid. One by one, Anvil's allied ships powered down reactors. Lights dimmed across the bridge. His own console switched to passive scans, the hum of life support the only sound. The fleet drifted, silent ghosts hugging the eclipse's edge. Vorathians prowled closer, their hive ships pulsing with bioluminescent hunger, blind to the trap. Data streamed pure. Vale traced their vectors. The enemy hunted by echolocation, feeding on stellar winds funneled through the shadow line. One breach and they'd flood the choke. They're probing, Vale reported. Drones at the boundary, if we move blind, Park's calm tone overrode. We don't move blind, Sato your show. Dr. Sato's voice crackled through. Reactors synced, pulsing coherent burst on my mark, 3, 2, 1. Vale's sensors spiked. Every human ship in the fleet throbbed in unison. Not full power. A tight, phased pulse lanced from their reactor vents, refracted along the eclipse edge like a laser lighthouse. It painted the Vorathian drones without breaking blackout. Ghost images bloomed on Vale's display, enemy formations outlined in false echoes, their own probes turned against them. Brilliant, Vale muttered, clean data from chaos. The Vorathians recoiled, hive minds confused by the mimicry. Their main wave stalled at the choke, feeding frenzy aborted. Rel's eyes widened. Humans, treat shadow as a weapon? Keth, security feed patched in. Boarding teams launching, their blackout stalled 3 reclaimers, we secure them. Vale split his screen. Keth 9 armored form jetted from Anvil's Bay, squads fanning out in perfect rails. Human Marines matched pace, jetpack bursts precise, no wasted thrust. They hit the first stalled reclaimer like needles through hull plating. Breach seals hissed open. Controlled risks, Keth 9 growled over comms. His blade flashed, severing a Vorathian drone's tendril. Humans vent plasma charges ahead, clears decks without breach alarms. Vale zoomed the feed. Sato's jury rig from earlier, boosters laced with grav lenses, yanked enemy drives offline. The reclaimers drifted helpless, reactors cold. Keth 9 team flowed through corridors, humans covering flanks with improvised arc welders that doubled as stunners. No panic, just rhythm. One Marine took a claw swipe, suit breaching. He sealed it mid-spin, lasing the attacker point blank. Path clear, he reported, voice even. Keth 9 paused at a junction, mandibles flexing. Reckless, no, calculated. His squad pushed on, securing the bridge. Vorathian crew thrashed in zero-G, but rails fired true. Back on the grid, Vale plotted the shift. Park's fleet spiraled inward, riding the pulse-masked shadow. Vorathians regrouped, larger hives warping reinforcements. Billions strong, blotting the stars. Choke holds, Vale said, but their allies punch through in 90 seconds. We need the countermove. Park's icon pulsed. Debris field rigged, Sato's missed ambush live, fleet, hybrid formation, alien precision, human flow, commit. Rel gripped her console. Full hybrid. Anvil leads wedge. Engines whispered back online, throttled low. Vale's arrays locked green. The fleet twisted into a helix, alien ships forming the rigid spine, human frigates weaving the unpredictable coils. Mists deployed, Sato's grav lenses bending debris into swirling veils. Vorathians charged the choke. Their lead hive rammed forward, space warping around its maw. Beams lanced out, grazing Anvil's shields. Vale painted vents. Target Alpha's intakes, Sato's counter fired. Coils snapped taut, dragging the hive's prow into slag debris. Hull buckled. Drones swarmed from rents, only to meet Keth 9 boarding volleys. Second wave inbound, Vale warned. Feeds showed angular hulks decloaking, weapons hot, Park called vectors. Spiral tight, missed wall now, the fleet danced. Human drills laced through alien blocks, frigates dodging beams that would pulp larger cruisers. One human ship took a direct hit, shields buckling. Sato's voice, reroute aux power, we're good. Vale verified sinks, reclaimers warped wrecks as rams. Sato dragged them offline, coils yanking trajectories wild. Explosions bloomed silent in the void. Keth 9 team cleared another hulk. Humans hold the core, we fortify. His squads planted charges, turning captured ships into mines. Rel bet big. Press the boundary. Eclipse their feeds. Chaos flowed. Vorathians pulled harder, space folding. A frigate crumpled, but Park's comm held the line. Evolve it, Sato lends the big one. Sato laughed over open comms. Grav-lensing drives pull them into each other. Vale watched the masterstroke. Human reactors pulsed again, lenses focusing debris into a crushing funnel. Lead reclaimers slammed together, cores breaching. Chain reactions rippled, lighting the eclipse like fireworks. Silence fell. Scans swept empty for now. Park's tone shifted. Packet update, Vorathians signaling deeper allies, fleet inbound, bigger. Vale's deep array confirmed, shadows mass thicker. Earth's warnings rang true again. Rel stared at the hollow. Their normal escalates, ours bends. Sato patched in. Rig the field wider. We steer the dark. Vale smiled, data pure. Humans didn't hide from darkness, they steered it. But the next wave warped closer, quadrillions hungry. Keth 9 voice cut through. Boarding complete, new vectors locked. What's the play? Park grinned on feed. Quiet species leads. Fleet follows. Vale's fingers flew, choke point recalibrating. The real feed began, Vorathian signatures surged, not dozens, thousands. Their hive minds synchronized, blotting the gas giant's limb. Vale's passive scan strained, picking out the pattern, a phased assault timed to the eclipse's peak. Feeding window widened, they aimed to engulf the entire fleet. Matriarch, Vale said, boundary shifts. New choke here. He overlaid the arc tighter now where shadow met stellar wind. Rel nodded. Park, your shadow ride, scale it. Affirm, Park replied. Emissions cut fleet-wide, ride silent. The order rippled. Anvil's reactors throttled to null. Bridge plunged darker. Vale's console glowed soul light, feeding him ghost data. Sato's channel buzzed. Sinking pulses, edge refraction maxed. The burst hit, coherent, invisible to Vorathian hunts. Vale's display lit with enemy outlines. Hives twisted, confused, drones scattering like startled prey. Keth 9 launched anew. Teams on stalled outliers, human blackout works. Vale tracked the boards. Keth 9 squads pierced hulls, humans sinking breaches with plasma vents. One reclaimer core went cold under Sato's remote hack. Security teams flowed in, rails barking. Clear, Keth 9 reported. Their risks save us seconds. Vorathians adapted. Probes pierced the mist. A beam clipped Anvil's flank. Vale rerouted power. Shields holding, countermove window 30 seconds. Park's fleet coiled. Debris helix missed deploy. Sato's lenses bent slag into rams. Hives crumpled mid-charge. Keth 9 captured ships detonated on cue, shrapnel storms shredding wings. Rel clenched fists. Humans improvise extinction's edge. One massive hive broke through, maw gaping. Vale targeted vents. Sato's pulse blinded it. Keth 9 boarded hot. Core secured, Keth 9 growled. We turn their weapon. Explosions chained, void cleared again, but Vale's array pinged, deeper signals. Allies inbound, endless, Park's voice. Evolve the shadow, next choke forming. Vale calculated. Humans steered true. Fleet survived, barely. The quiet species normal became legend. Shadows deepened. The hunt escalated. Vale's fingers flew across the console. Raw battle feeds surged toward Sol, every Vorathian signature, every human hack, unfiltered chaos. Human liaison, he broadcast on open channel. Assistance requested, no protocols, Vorathian reinforcements inbound, billions strong. Park's voice cut through static. Data received, sensor chief, plotting final vector. Sato, spool the burst. Vale's screens flickered. Enemy signals multiplied, hives fracturing into dagger swarms. His predictions overlaid the grid, kill corridors narrowing. Anvil shuddered as Park's fleet ignited drives. Thrust pinned debris clouds, funneling Vorathian fragments straight into his crosshairs. Fragments locked, Vale announced. Burn confirmed, they enter corridor in 10. Keth 9 squads repelled across captured hulls. Human burns expose vents, we breach now. Railguns cracked, cores vented plasma. Vale watched outlines crumple, humans sinking breaches with pinpoint timing, no hesitation. Rel loomed behind him. Your data holds, Soren, but their maneuvers, reckless. Not reckless, Vale muttered. Calculated. He trusted the streams now. Humans turned debris into rams, slag into shields. One fragment hive grazed Anvil's hull. Alarms wailed. Vale shunted power to emitters. Shields flared blue. Park's lead ship coiled tighter. Burn complete. Fragments pinned. Sato, now. Deep in the human engineer's bay, Sato punched the trigger. Improvised jammer burst erupted. Invisible wavefronts warped enemy sensors. Vorathian outlines twisted on Vale's display. Hives spasmed. Drones veered wild, slamming into debris walls. They're breaking. Keth-9 barked over comms. Jammer blinds them, swarms scattering. Vale zoomed the grid, billions fragmented into panicked clusters. Park's rails sang, precision volleys shredded command nodes. Sato's hack chain through outliers, turning drones against kin. Explosions bloomed silent in the void. One megahive powered through the mist maw agape. Vale targeted its vents. Pulse it, Sato! Sent. The engineer's voice stayed flat. Enemy sensors fried. Keth-9 team swarmed aboard. Core hours detonating on your mark. Mark, Vale synced the chain. Shrapnel storms ripped wings. The megahive split, spilling wreckage. Rel's claws dug into her console. Deeper signals fading, they flee. Vale streamed the finale. Saul's relays pinged receipt. Human reinforcements mobilized, ghost signatures already curving in. Fleet anvil stabilized. Oxygen recyclers hummed steady. Park's face appeared on split screen. Corridor clear, sensor chief. Casualties minimal. Your predictions saved the burn. Vale nodded, data ghosts fading from his screens. Your improvisation pinned them. We integrate now. Rel stepped forward. Her silhouette filled Vale's peripheral. She tapped Park's feed. Captain, your people came to warn us. We dismissed. Now we owe. Park leaned into her pickup. Calm eyes met the matriarch keepers. No debts, matriarch, just survival, draft incoming. A file blinked across channels, treaty outlines, Saul alliance terms, resource shares, joint defense, human emergency doctrine embedded. Rel scanned it. Her mandibles clicked once. Primitive warnings proved prescient. She extended a signing tendril. Light sealed the draft on Park's console. Fleet adopts human protocols, chaos as tool, all vessels implement now. Keth-9 patched in from a drifting hull. Confirmed. Their risks, disciplined, we learn. Vale's array refreshed. Vorathian remnants fled toward dark space fringes, but a new ping echoed, faint, structured, not enemy, something older. Sensor chief, Park's tone sharpened. Your grid catch that? Vale isolated the signal. Patterns matched no Vorathian weave. Harmonic probing directed at Saul's beacon, the engineered eclipse that first revealed the hives. Unknown origin, he replied. Pre-Vorathian, watching. Rel's voice hardened. Humans stirred the void. What hunts next? Sato's channel buzzed. Jammer residue lingers. We spoof it by time. Park nodded. Evolve the shadow. Fleet forms up. Vale calculated trajectories. The signal strengthened. Humans coiled seamless. Quiet species normal scripted survival again. But the void whispered deeper threats. Eclipse shadows lengthened. Something ancient stirred. Vale rooted power to long-range arrays. The unknown signal pulsed rhythmic, layers unfolding like a blooming trap. He cross-referenced Vorathian archives. No match, precursor echoes. Matriarch, he said, signal queries our eclipse maneuver, Earth's warning light. Rel pivoted. They saw humans blind the hunts, dismiss no more. Park's fleet reformed helixtite. Sato repurposed debris lenses, amplify our shadow. Sato's hands blurred on feeds Vale monitored. Ship hulls bent slag into fractal mirrors. Light refracted, eclipse evolved, masking Saul's glow deeper. Keth-9 teams sealed breaches. Humans turn scrap to stratagems. Security drills adopt. Vale's console warmed under sustained load. Data streamed to Saul unbroken. Human replies flooded back, engine tweaks, burned profiles. Fleet anvil integrated seamless. The signal shifted. Probes inbound, sleek non-Vorathian. Vale plotted intercepts. Contacts 12. Energy signatures neutral, but armed. Park's voice steadied the bridge. Your corridors, Vale, we pin. He overlaid grids. Affirm, final burn vectors ready. Thrusters ignited fleet-wide. Debris helix spun tighter. Probes entered kill zones. Sato's lenses flared. Jammers bent their scans. Keth-9 launched interceptors. Probes halted. Signatures shifted friendly. A hail burst open channels. Intruders identified, the transmission hummed in crisp galactic trade. Vorathian chaff cleared, observers stand down. Vale froze, observers, Rel's tendrils flexed. Precursor envoys, they slumbered beyond the rim. Park queried calm. Terms, envoys offer alliance against the endless hives, your eclipse, inspired. Vale's screens synced new data, maps vast, threats galactic. Humans reviewed without flinch. Accepted, Park said. Joint ops send profiles. Rel signed addendum. Human doctrine leads emergencies. Fleet hummed alive. Vale tracked the merge. Quiet species habits rewrote the stars, but outer arrays pinged faint. Vorathian queens regrouped. Deeper dark called. Park's final words lingered. Shadows evolve, we hunt now. Vale gripped controls, legend forged in improvisation. Survival demanded more.